In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a fun little project, a nice, easy project. If you're brand new to CorelDRAW, brand new to EasyStone, should be able to follow along really, really easily. We recently had a customer ask us about a Disney themed design that she was looking to make. She's planning a trip to Disney and wanted to create a shirt for herself and her family for their trip. And so that's what we're going to show you how to do. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we just came out to the Google Images, and all I did was type in mouse ears, and I found this image, and I like it. So we're going to right-click and choose Copy Image, go back into CorelDRAW, and paste right into CorelDRAW. Then we're going to convert this, so we're going to go to Trace Bitmap, go to Outline Trace, Low Quality Image, and we're going to add this option, Delete Original Image, because we don't need our bitmap anymore. So now all we're left with is a vector version of this design. Now what we're going to do, and you don't have to do this, I'm just going to do it just for the fun of it. I'm just going to grab a little oval shape like this and hold my shift key down and grab my ears and hit the C key on my keyboard, and that will center everything left to right. And then I can modify this if I want to. I might just you can do whatever you want there. I just want just a little bit different here. So we're just going to select both of those elements and weld those two together, and you can see what I got just like there. Now if I didn't like that, which I think I want this up a little bit, now I'll try and weld it again. So we just want this little bump just for the fun of it. You don't have to do this. I just did it just because I wanted to. All right, so now the next thing to do, let's give our ears no fill, but let's give them an outline. And now what we're going to do is we're going to set our ears at about 7 inches. I want the overall design to be somewhere between 9 and 10 inches wide, because we like to get a nice high stone count for maximum bling, but obviously we still have to have it fit on a shirt. So somewhere between 9 and 10 inches will probably get the job done. And so we set our ears at 7. And then we're going to come over here to the Stone Fill tab, and we're going to choose Island Fill. We're going to do 8 offsets. Now, I already have my stone size set to my SS10 stone size, the spacing that I want to use. So if I right-click on Island Fill, what that's going to do is it's going to offset to the outside. Now what we're going to do is we're going to break these lines up in a specific way for a specific reason, which I'm going to explain here momentarily. So to do this, just double-click on our very first line. That will switch us to our shape edit tool. And I'm going to select this node, hold my shift key down, select this one at every corner. Okay, so those 4 nodes, come to the editing tab, break at nodes. Okay, in CorelDRAW, if we do that, we can break 1 node at a time. Break apart, see, and we could just 1 at a time. Okay, so that it takes a while to when you're doing it that way, it takes a while. So our preferred method is just to go ahead and grab all of our nodes that we want to break and then choose break at nodes, and it'll break at all those nodes that we had selected. Double click on the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, break at nodes, and we do this for every line. Okay, and once we get that all done, you'll see why we want to do this here momentarily. But at every one of those corners, we want to break at nodes. So then it goes down to 3 the farther we get out. So now we just have to click on those 3 points, this one, and this one. Not sure, we might have to look at that. It's a type mismatch. I'm not sure why it said that. We'll come back to that. Break at nodes. All right. So now we've broken our nodes right where we wanted to. So now let's look at the whole design as is. And you can see it's right at 9.5 inches, which is exactly what we wanted it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add stones to all these lines. So just come in here, we'll choose Add Stones. And now you can see we've added stones to all those lines. Now here's the trick. We're going to select all these lines at the bottom. Let me just hold my Alt key, I'm way over here on the right, and just drag over those lines. And if I just click on a color down here, you can see what stones are colored. So you can see that those stones are colored right down there. I'm going to undo that. Okay. So what we want to do is, if you hit the plus minus, so we've selected all these lines but the very first one. So now watch when I hit the down arrow. See how the stone count starts getting smaller and smaller along that path. Okay, so now I want to select everything but the first two lines, and then hit my down arrow again. And what I'm looking for here, as each line goes, I want this stone to be centered. Okay, so watch what I do the next step. When I hit the down arrow, I want this stone to have that offset. Okay, and then so the next one, and then the next one. And there's no real right, but you can see how it's always staggering the more we go out. Okay, and then those two, and then finally this last one. Okay, so you can see how they're all nicely staggered. Now up here we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to select all but the first one, and then what I want to try and do is look at the spacing and kind of try and match that spacing. So when I hit the down arrow, I want to hit the down arrow, and you can see that that spacing is roughly, give or take, right? And so we want to do that all the way up. So again, we'll select all but the first two now, and look at the spacing on that second line and compare it with the spacing here. We also want to keep in mind that stagger that I was talking about earlier. So to me, the stagger is probably the most important to get the look that I want to And so I'm just going along, reducing the stone count as we go here. Okay, now when this spacing is quite a bit more than that, we can always add a stone too. So we can, kind of do it somewhere in between there. All right, so that's more or less what I had in mind. So now what we're going to do is select the entire design, delete those stone paths, and I have a little trick. I have an extra little utility in my version. We can go over to the guideline tool, and we're going to do center vertical based on my selection. So it found the center vertical point of everything that I had selected. So I'm just going to select everything and hit delete. So now I only have half. I'm a big one for symmetry, so that's why I did that. So then what we're going to do is just going to take this design and flip it over. So you can see all we're doing is selecting the design. Let me actually undo that so you can see this. Selecting the design, grabbing that control handle and dragging. If we hold our control key down, it'll constrain to and the mirroring, it'll constrain it to be perfect like it is on the right. And then if I right click, that will make a duplicate when I let go. Okay, so now you can kind of see what we did there. All right, so again, let's do that again. Let's flip it, control key, right click. I still have this half selected now, and all we're going to do is just drag this right there. We're going to call that center point. Okay, and I tell you what, let's do this. Let's make this the center point. There's really no right or wrong way to determine what is going to be center, but I don't know. See, I second guess myself all the time. Let's call this center. So what we'll do is we'll fix up what we've got going on up here in a moment. So let's get rid of, and I think what we're going to do here, we're going to use a handy dandy little function over here on the editing tab, which is our delete overlap. So anytime we have two stones that are overlapping, when we hit delete overlaps, what it does is it finds the center point of the two and makes one. Okay, so we know that is center there. So center point of the two, and it'll make one. And here we'll probably just delete these two. Choose delete overlaps. And anywhere we see that, We'll just do that when we know that there's some overlaps going on there. We can, like right here, you can see there's two objects selected, so when we hit delete overlaps, then it'll find the center point of the two and just make one for us. And here, there are 4 overlaps, so we actually have to do it twice. Because it's only going to work with 2 stones at a time. Okay, so that takes care of that up there. Let's do down here. What do we got going on down here? There's 2 objects, so we'll hit delete overlaps. Here there's 2. Delete overlaps, find the center point. Here there should be 2, so we'll delete overlaps there, find the center point. Same thing here, delete overlaps. And we could do these all at once too. We don't have to do them one by one, but I just want you to see what's happening as we're doing that. All right, so now we will go ahead and come in here and take care of, we'll select the entire design. Any other overlaps that we hadn't already taken care of, we can go to the miscellaneous tab and click on check spacing. There's 29 overlaps, so we'll go ahead and dispose of all of those. And then here, you can see that the stones are a little bit dense here, but we're not going to worry about this little spot right now. We're going to come back to that. All right, let's go ahead and add a weed box. So you can see already that this is a really cute little design, really simple design. And certainly like the first line that we did, just to add a little pop to the design, we could have done that in a different color if you wanted to. You know, there's a lot of different things that we could have done. But I want to just make this design just a little bit more cute. And so what we're going to do is show you how we can just add some elements from another design and really make a design, a cute design, even that much cuter. So what we're going to do is pull over a design of the day design, which is this little bow that we did for you. And we're going to ungroup it. Go ahead and get rid of the little bow's weed box. And then we're just going to move our little bow right into position wherever we want it to be. And we can use our arrow keys to kind of fine tune the exact placement of it if we want to. And I'm going to say that right there is going to get the job done, maybe. Maybe I'll move it over a little bit. I don't know. All right, so let's just leave it at that, okay? And so now, obviously, all we have to do is come in and delete our conflicting stones. So it's nice utilizing these design elements from other designs that we may already have, just to make a little change to our design. And I'm just selecting the stone and then hitting the delete key on my keyboard. Grab the right stone there. Now what we can do too is, if we want to, if a stone is just close, we can just nudge the stone a little bit without actually deleting it. So it's really up to us what we want to do as far as that goes. So like this stone here, we can just kind of move those stones around. We can nudge this one away a little bit. We'll move this one up a little bit. Maybe we'll delete that one. Copy that one down. Do something like that. So you can kind of just arrange these stones now to fill in the gaps, because we did delete a few stones here and there. And step back, take a look at the design. It looks pretty good. So I think what we'll do here is we'll just do something like that. See, much cuter having that little bow in place there. And so there is the finished design. So have fun experimenting with that technique, doing those concentric rings, and then just lowering the stone counts the farther and farther out you go. And you can create some interesting effects like that. You could also alternate colors as you go out. You could, so there's a lot of different types of things that you could do. But I think that'll be a fun little design for her to put on her Disney shirt. and something a little bit different than whatever else might be available out there. So I hope you enjoyed this little project. I hope you try it out, and thanks for watching.